Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everyone. In here, we from Group H will explain about current issue in financial accounting and reporting. First, introduce our group member consisting of me, Iin Kusmiati, Dewi Rohimma, and then R. Pramudyani, Lidya, Erensia. Our subject consists of will explain about SAK etap, SAK entitas privat, SAK EMKM, and then subsidiary without public accountability. And then I will explain about SAK etap. Definition of SAK etap. Financial accounting standard have adopted international financial reporting standard for both entities with public accountability and standard for entities without public accountability. Its implementation is relatively complicated so that many companies listen on the stock exchange do the listing because it is difficult to apply SAK IFRS and choose to apply SAK etap. This SAK etap is considered very important. Financial accounting standard for entities without public accountability or SAK etap, this looks side by side with international financial reporting standard for small and medium-sized entities, although they have different titles. Both SAK and IFRS are both intended for entities without public accountability. It's just that the term used as the title in IFRS small and medium size. So if we compare the fields in IFRS for an SAK etap, that the term entities without public accountability has the same meaning as small and medium sized entities. And then is SAK that stands up alone and no refer to on SAK general, part big user cost historical range transaction with done by etap. Step setting with more simple in the cash treatment accountancy and relatively to change during a number of years. And then room scope of SAK etap. The financial accounting standard for entities without public accountability or SAK etap are intended for use by entities without public accountability. Number one, not one accountability public significant and public reporting finance to purpose general or a general purpose financial statement for user external. Example, user external is our which not involved direct in management effort, creditor, and institution rating credit. And then about characteristic of SAK etap. Characteristic of SAK etap consists of consists of number one, no refer to SAK general, number two, SAK will stand up alone by rule or stand alone, and then majority use historical cost concept, and then only arrange transaction with general done small business and intermediate, and then arrangement more simple compare SAK general. And then benefit of SAK etap. Benefit of SAK etap consists of more easy implementation compare PSAK, IFRS because more simple, and then also simple however permanent could give information which reliability in report presentation finance. And then implementation of SAK etap. Implementation of SAK etap about PSAK came to force at the end of 2011, the use of this PSAK must be consistent for the following years. If you have dedicated to use general PSAK in the presentation of financial statement, that you are not allowed to refer to policy to PSAK etap. Entity can apply SAK etap retrospectively, but if it is not practical, then the entity is allowed to apply SAK etap prospectively. Retrospective application means that a new accounting policy is applied as if the accounting policy has been used before. Therefore, the new accounting policy is applied to event or transaction since to the date of occurrence of this event or transaction. While the application prospectively means that the new accounting policy to apply to event or transaction that occur after the date of the change. No adjustment were made to the previous period. Entities that apply prospectively and have previously prepared financial statement consist of number 1, confess all assets and obligations in accordance etap. Number 2, not confess asset and obligation if not allowed by SAK etap, and then reclassification post which previously used all PSAK become post in accordance SAK etap, and then apply measurement asset and obligation with recognized in accordance SAK etap, and then SAK etap will choose permanent use PSAK IFRS or use SAK etap. Next slide is about content of SAK etap. Content of SAK etap consists of number 1 yang capture 1 about room scope, capture 2 about draft and principal pervasive, capture 3 about presentation report finance, capture 4 about balance sheet, capture 5 about report profit make a loss, and then capture 13 about debt effective. For more information, you can study in document officially in SAK etap all 2009. Thank you.
Okay, the next material is about SAKEP or SAK entitas privat or private entities. Before I explain the material, let me introduce myself. My name is Pramudyani Lidya Erensia. Just call me Lidya. According to IEI in SAKEP, private entities are structured to meet the financial reporting needs of private entities, namely entities that don't have public accountability and issues general purpose financial statements for external users. However, entities that have public accountability can use SAKEP if the competent authority makes regulations that allow to use of SAKEP. Next, this is the timeline of application of SAKEP. The next is what is SAKEP or SAK entity private? Private entity SAK introduces and explains in detail about first the concept of excessive cost and effort compared to SAK etap, which only briefly explains the balance between costs and benefits. Second, contingent assets and contingent liabilities that were not previously regulated separately in SAK etap. Third, total comprehensive income that isn't regulated in SAK etap. And the last, the concept of measurement at initial recognition for the entity's assets and liabilities and subsequent measurement for financial assets and financial liabilities. non-financial assets, and liabilities other than financial liabilities, which are only briefly discussed in SAK etap. Next, who is user SAK EP? The users are first entity which know accountability in public. Next, please report finance for purpose general for users external. And the last, the entity micro, small, and intermediate which previously choose for apply etap SAK. Okay, this is about the presentation report finance. In the private entity SAK or SAK EP includes the following arrangement. First, preparation and presentation of financial statements is the responsibility of management. Second, identification of the scope of financial statements, whether for individual entities or group of entities. The third, introduce a comprehensive income report, which is a part of the requirements of a complete financial report. And the last, explain the presentations of information that is required by the private entity SAK or SAK EP. Okay, next, this is about the report positions finance. This is about report income comprehensive. Report income comprehensive consists of income, cost finance, then part profit make a loss, and then burden tax, then total single, then profit make a loss. Next, every items income comprehensive other, then share of other comprehensive income, and the last, total income comprehensive. Next, report change equity. Report change equity covers information following of total income comprehensive for something period, shown by separated total which could attribute to owner, entity, parent, and to interest non-controlling. Then for every component equity, impact from application, retrospective or presentation, written by retrospective which recognized in accordance with Chapter 10 Policy A, Contingency, Estimate, and Error. And the last, for every component equity, reconciliation among total recorded on beginning and end period by separated disclosed change which arise from profit make a loss, income comprehensive other, and total investation. Next, this is about report current cash. Current cash classified based on kind, that is, current cash from activity operations, current cash from activity investations, and current cash from activity funding. And notes on report finance. Notes on report finance load vary from first, serve information about base composing report finance and policy accountancy specific which use. Then disclose information which required by standard, this which not serve in part anywhere in report finance. And the last, provide information which not serve in part anywhere in report finance, but information that relevant for understanding report finance. And this is about the income comprehensive other, that SAK etap not yet confess existence income comprehensive other. And this is about the instrument finance. Instrument finance is contract which cause asset finance on one entity and liability finance or instrument equity on entity other. Instrument finance, among other, consists from cash, current account and deposit, later valuable commercial, account receivable and debt, then bond and instrument debt similar, investation in share preference, which no called convert and share normal, and the last, commitment for accept loan if commitment no called paid off with cash. And next, this is about the instrument finance or measurement. And this is about the property investations. Private entity SAK or SAK EP regulates in more detail the definitions, measurement at initial recognition and subsequent measurement, as well as disclosure of investment properties. Measurement of investment property can use fair value with change in fair value recognized in profit or loss or using the cost model. Next, about asset permanent. In the private entity SAK or SAKEP, among others, it stipulates that an entity may choose the cost model or revaluation model as the accounting policy for its class of property, plant, and equipment, including treatment of an increase in the carrying value of property, plant, and equipment due to revaluations, as well as disclosure related to property, plant, and equipment using the revaluation model. Next is about asset not firm. Private entity SAK or SAKEP affirms the general principle of recognizing intangible assets by adding the requirement that intangible assets can only be recognized if the assets doesn't result from expense that arise internally for intangible items, and regulates the accounting treatment for intangible assets acquired in business combinations and from government grants. Next, this is about the rent. Earned rent financing asset recognized by tenant and treated as asset permanent, whereas rent operations only confess payment rent as burden rent. Private entity SAK confirms, first, the scope of the lease including the arrangement, which is substantially a lease, and the exclusion of the scope of application of the lease, and as an indicator of the situations in which a lease is classified as a finance lease. Private entity SAK or SAKEP also regulates in more detail the accounting treatment for both finance leases and operating leases in the lessee financial statements. Next, this is about the grant government. Okay, next, tax income. Private entity SAK or SAKEP, in addition to regulating income tax, also regulates, among others, deferred tax and related matters, such as the principle of recognizing different tax basis for assets and liabilities, temporary difference, measurement of deferred tax, as well as offset current tax and tax offset deferred. And this is the about hyperinflation. And this is the last about activity special or special activity. Special activity consists of agriculture. The second is eksplorasi dan evaluasi sumber daya alam. And the last, perjanjian konsesi jasa. Okay, this is the last for SAKEP or SAK entitas privat. Thank you.
Okay, and then we will discuss about SAK SKM. According to IAI in micro, small, and medium entities or AMKM are entities without significant public accountability, which is the definition and criteria for micro, small, and medium enterprises are stipulated in the laws and regulations. The scope of SAK is for macro, small, and medium-sized entities, which are entities without public accountability that significant in accordance with SAK. And also, with the classification, micro, small, and medium enterprises, statutory taxation. According to Law Number 30 of 2018 concerning micro, small, and medium enterprises, several AMKM criteria has been set as follows. The first is for micro enterprises. The criteria has a maximum net worth 50 million rupiah, excluding land and building for business and have annual sales of a maximum 300 million rupiah. And the second, small business criteria have a net worth of more than 50 million rupiah up to a maximum 500 million rupiah, excluding land and building for business, and have annual sales of more than 300 million rupiah up to maximum 2,500,000,000 rupiah. The benefit of implementing SAK 2018, there are the first, financial reports that have been prepared are easy to understand for the business sector themselves and external parties who require financial information. The second, make it easier for MSME actors to get both grant and other written non-binding source of financing from regional government. And the third, entities can set up their business using green venture capital even with foreign funds. And then we will discuss about content of the SAK. The chapter 1 is about scope. SAK is intended for use by micro, small, and medium-sized entities. In chapter 2 is about respective concept and principle. In chapter 3, about presentation of financial statement. Complete financial report. The minimum of financial statement consists of the first statement of financial position at the end of the period. Second, statement of income for the period, and the third, note to financial statement, which contain addition and details of certain realization income. In the chapter 4 is about statement of financial position. In chapter 5, income statement. Chapter 6, about notes to financial statement. Chapter 7 is about accounting policies, estimate and error. Chapter 8 about financial assets and liability. Chapter 9 about suppliers. Chapter 10 about investment in joint venture. Joint venture is joint arrangement in which the parties that have joint control have rights to the assets of the arrangement. And chapter 11 about assets. Then in chapter 12 about intangible assets. In chapter 13 about liabilities and equity. Chapter 40 about income and expense.
session encourage narrative, chapter 17 about transitional condition, and the end is chapter 18 about equity care. The entity applying SAK for the financial year period starting on after January 1st, 2020. And then we will discuss other subsidiaries without public accountability. Objective of the proposal is to allow eligible subsidiaries to elect to apply the reduced fiscal requirement proposed in the EC while still applying the recognition, measurement, and presentation requirement in different standards. An entity may just implement a proposal in the of if the end of reporting because if a subsidiary justified its IFRS and consolidated financial statement, the second purpose is accountability. The third, the company has a parent who prepare consolidated financial statements available for public use in accordance with IFRS standards. Entities that may be required to implement the proposal described above may apply the voluntary. Entities that apply the proposal must still apply regulation. Second, and presentation requirement is in the IFRS standard. An entity that chose to apply the proposal is not required to provide the disclose required by this proposal if it's not material. However, we should be aware of the requirement to provide additional disclosure if the disclosure in the proposal cannot provide sufficient information to enable users to understand the financial statement. Okay, that is the presentation for our group featured different issues in financial accounting and consulting. We apologize if there are any mistakes in this presentation. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamu'alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.